When you come to Finland, or in fact if you go to any country, if you're going to looking to move there or to spend some time there, one of the best things you can do is join a sports club. Me and Jimmy have done that, and our guests today are part of the Finnish rugby setup. One of them is an all-time legend of Finnish rugby, and the other one is Tumppi. let's introduce yourself, boys. Steve.
Hello, I'm Steve. Been involved in Finnish rugby since 2002, I think, or 3. Maybe as a shit player, but also more the administration side.
Yeah, and the other man over there, this is because he's a modest guy, I will say that this is Finland's all-time appearance and point-scoring record holder. Tom, how are you, sir?
Pretty good, bro.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I played since 2002 and played for Warriors all that time, and both of you have played for us as well.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And Jimmy, what do you reckon?
Morning.
Yeah.
We're all Warriors boys here, actually, I think.
Yeah.
Or former Warriors boys.
I think we've all worn the shirt at least one
Warriors
point.
boys.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like this isn't a Warriors like selling a show, but the fact is that we're the best club in the entire Finland. We've got the biggest history. We've got the best players. We're the best
Biggest
people,
history.
So, I know. So look, if you want to play rugby in Finland, of course there's many different clubs, but the Warriors are actually at the forefront in terms of achievement and also in terms of club atmosphere. So the first question I'm going to ask you boys is, when you first came to Finland, Tumppi, this doesn't apply to you. Rugby wasn't really a thing back in the days, was it?
No, not really. I actually didn't know that rugby was played at all in Finland. I was playing basketball, and a friend of mine cheated me into trying rugby.
Friend.
Yeah. See, I've heard stories about this like fresh-faced 18-year-old with an afro. With gigantic curly hair turning up in a field and said, this is fun, we'll get involved with this. Steve, so you were a player back in the days as well, weren't you?
Oh yeah, oh my god,
Not really.
we're talking like a long time ago.
Uh,
Obviously being Welsh, it's not a case of why do you play rugby, it's when you play rugby.
yeah, exactly.
So I actually started playing rugby quite late as a Welsh guy. I came in about 8 years old. I was doing gymnastics and all this shit before that.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Let's not, right? Because you see the guys in the Olympic Games and I going, shit, I used to do that, but really not as good.
Yeah.
It's like, you see the guys doing all the flips.
Yeah.
When you see the guys land on their face.
Yeah.
That was me. And then also doing a flip on the floor and breaking your nose by your own knee. That's classic, but that's where I got this from.
So you were very good at the flat sack.
Oh, mate. Awesome, right? Awesome.
Yeah, flat sack.
Yeah, I ended up going
I think the
over.
flat
And
sacks are splits.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
that was accidental. And I'm pleased to say that I actually do have 2 kids, so it's not the be all and end all. If you do land on those, there's still hope.
Yeah, like if you've got one, you still have the other one to do the deal. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm just thinking how many have I got left?
What did you start with?
I've no idea, mate. To be fair, I didn't even count.
Yeah,
I think I donated a few somewhere along the line as well.
That's it.
But yeah, so I came in as a player as a kid, started playing school level, ended up playing city level, and then went to uni and I quit between school and uni. And then when I went back to uni, I started playing again. I started a rugby team on my campus. Most of the guys got hijacked by the local rugby team anyway, so it was Rosslyn Park,
Yeah.
who were fairly okay level in
pretty
rugby.
good.
And then moved to Finland and came over here and I played for one team in Finland and kind of thought, you aren't a club. Yeah, you play rugby on Saturdays, but you're not what I expect from a rugby club. And having spent so many years in the UK where everyone gets together and there's a big social element about it.
Yeah. And the same in Oz as well. Wasn't
There
it?
definitely is a different culture,
Yeah.
like over here in Finland, but like they don't really have that history either. It's still such a new sport here in Finland. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you an example. The club I played for in London, maybe about 5 years ago, celebrated their centenary. So they've been going for 100 years.
Which is like as old as Finland, isn't it?
No, I think the land was here already.
Yeah. But like, what I'm interested to know is like, I know that the history of rugby in Finland's a bit weird. Like back in the 90s, there was a couple of weird games or something. Like some guys tried it and it didn't quite work out, and then it stopped for a while, and then God bless your soul, Helsinki Rugby Club, our mortal enemies, but also, weirdly, our fathers. You're like our Darth Vader. Like, basically, Helsinki Rugby Club started up back in, pretty much, back in 2000, 2001 or something like that. And they just started meeting up and started to play. And then I think Tampere started as well, didn't they? And there must be a massive difference from when you guys started to where we are now. I would imagine it's a completely different.
Yeah, we used to play 15s with about 10 guys.
I remember that.
Yeah, didn't even have a field essentially to play on. No, it was like
and there was in the beginning there was 4 clubs for a couple of years, and there was 4 clubs in the whole country.
Yeah. And as far as I remember as well, it was like a few foreigners, 1 or 2 brave souls who were Finns who came in and that was it. What was your first impressions, mate? I think that what you have is good transferable skills from basketball and this and that, but like when you first came in and you had essentially some dudes throwing a ball around, what did you think?
My first training session, it had been a rainy day, it was wet grass. I had on me like old basketball shoes with a worn outer sole. So I'm running on wet grass, so I'm just slipping and sliding everywhere. Yeah. But weirdly, I stayed and enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
This is the thing with rugby, like Finns, it's not a common game here, basically because most rugby nations had something to do with the British Empire at some point, and then there's the French, but who knows what the deal with the French is. But like, it's not part of it. I mean, okay, they played rugby in the Russian army as well, but ice hockey is essentially rugby, but with more danger, I guess. But like, it's a very similar thing. You've got a team ethic. You're working together to smash the shit out of the opposition. You've got good camaraderie as well.
As a referee, just want to add to that. Legally, you smash the shit out of the opposition.
Yeah, that's true. Steve is also a referee. Steve's a multi-talented man. Like, yeah. So yeah.
Sometimes you bend those rules, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes Steve's not so talented.
Yeah.
You've been speaking to my wife.
Yeah. So back in the days, obviously there was Helsinki, but then the Warriors was born. Now, how the hell did this happen?
I actually don't even really know all the secrets and details about this, but there were some guys who left Helsinki and decided to set up their own team.
Yeah.
I think going back to what I was saying about how different it was, because I actually played for Helsinki first.
Yeah. Oh, you're that old?
Yeah, I'm that old. And I played for them for a few times, and I thought, well, this isn't the club ethos I'm looking at. And maybe about a year later, one of the guys I was in uni over here with said, oh, we've set up another rugby club. Yeah. And then I met Scotty and a few of the other guys who actually came from Helsinki and set up Warriors because of the club ethos was missing. So they wanted to bring that whole everyone's in it together thing in. And then that's when I first met Tumppi at a few of the training sessions. And I think that's why Warriors got born from Helsinki, is because they wanted to give something that was longer than the 80 minutes at the game to all the players. It was like a place where everyone can meet in, and the camaraderie was great, and you became like a brotherhood.
Tell me about like the difference between the clubhouse mentality of like the UK and Oz, and then Finland, but also like how the Warriors and also it's developed in Finland.
I think the difference is that most rugby clubs that I've played for, I don't know, it's probably the same in Australia with you, Jimmy. It's just that you actually have a clubhouse, and there's a bar there, and there's obviously the changing rooms, and there's a stage sometimes. It depends on the clubhouse itself, and you come off that game and there's like 4 or 5 teams, and regardless which team you're playing for, everyone gets together afterwards. The wives come in.
You've got nippers running around.
The nippers are running around, and everyone's having a beer, and even the opposition guys are there as well, and everyone's shaking hands, and it's all pretty cool. It's just more relaxed, and it's more of, I'll use the word brotherhood again, because it really is. Rugby is a brotherhood. Yeah. And it's an easy brotherhood to get into.
I think like community is a big part as well, and then
that's how we started. Well, that's how I started anyway when I came to Finland for the first time. It was just go straight to a rugby session, and instantly you got 30 mates, 30 guys that you can talk to, hang out with. There's social events happening, and it all just sort of fits and connects, and it's just like being at home. Even though I come from a rugby league background, not so much a rugby union, different sport, but same sort of concept.
Well, actually, the fact is that me and Jimmy, both of us, firstly found a rugby club before we came to the country, and secondly, someone in this room was responsible for us getting work as well. And that's the great thing about rugby is you get this network. It's there, and like because the boys are all quite like-minded as well. We ended up working for a removal firm for a good while. That was a great laugh. Obviously, rugby boys, very, very similar in some ways to this. So it's just, you know, good physical work, good laugh. And that's why sport, and particularly rugby, is like really, really important, I think.
I think it took like, what, maybe a week and a half, 10 days, something like that, to sign the first. Actually, I think that's the only full-time contract I've ever signed.
That's it. So yeah, I think like this is something that like if you're missing that in Finland, like if you're missing this sense of like mates, it's something outside of work or sport. It's not compartmentalized. Rugby is like kind of a lifestyle choice, I would say, for sure. So I do think it's a really good idea to like track some of the boys down. So yeah, let's get back into deep dark history. Did you even have a union back then? Like
there was a federation.
Was it like the Monty Python sketch where there's
no.
like the People's Liberation Front of Judea? Oh, he's over there.
Yeah. No, the federation was there. We weren't really recognised in the greater area. We were lucky in the fact that we got members of the International Rugby Board, which is now World Rugby. Got in very, very early because the criteria for entry now is so much stronger.
Yeah.
So we managed to sneak in that way.
Yeah.
The federation was kind of farting about doing certain things, organising occasional internationals, like years and years ago. But I think it really kicked in, like when Tumppi joined when Warriors set up. I think they were the 5th team then, if I'm correct.
So who was it then? Helsinki, Tampere?
It was Helsinki, Tampere, Jyväskylä, Turku and Warriors. And I think Turku and Warriors set themselves up at roughly the same time.
I think Turku came in a bit later, but
maybe a bit later. Okay, because I came into Warriors a year after you'd set up. And I played Turku.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's how long ago it was.
I played in Turku.
Yeah, Jimmy's mercenary, essentially.
You are a bloody mercenary, aren't you? Is there any team that you've not played for in Finland?
I just go where the work is.
This is it, perfect.
Well, that's not really true.
Yeah.
He goes where his wife tells him to go.
Well, sometimes not so true either. It's usually at about Sunday, early in the morning.
Yeah, I'm just looking over there.
Facebook, I wake up.
Facebook post. Does anybody know where my husband is?
Yeah, I've had a few of those. It's like,
Hämeenlinna.
I will find out, baby. Yeah, let's check it out. So back in the days then, how long after you were training did you actually start playing?
There wasn't too many weeks. I think it was maybe not the same week, but a few weeks after.
Oh God, what was that like then?
Oh,
bearing in mind Tumppi is someone with like this, right? If you could bottle confidence, then, you'd have to extract it from his body essentially. But yeah,
I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Can't remember too much of the first games. All I can remember that it was not really rugby. It was just a ball that was oddly shaped and people chucking it around and no one catching it.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Well, not much has changed, but
I remember that. Yeah.
So, were there any like interesting characters you were playing with back in the days? I think Scott Fraser was there, wasn't he? Or?
Yeah, he didn't really play. He was just in the backgrounds, and he's still an interesting character.
If you guys ever visit Aussie Bar or any of the Aussie Bar chains, and you see someone who looks like this, basically not in the bar but on the wall, that's Scott Fraser. He's one of the co-founders of Aussie Bar.
The sheep thief.
The sheep thief, exactly. Yeah, Aussie bloke, and he was. I think it was him. There was 2 French guys who split apart from the Warriors.
Didier. I think Didier was one of them.
Yeah.
It was Roy Casey, Roy Hodgson, Mike Byers, and Scotty Fraser that went off.
So you got 5 boys there, 2 French. You know, the French are good at revolutions, so like, it's.
They've only done one.
Hey,
it worked pretty well though.
Exactly. So they're like, no, we will create our own place, and it's like, well, fair enough. We got some French in our DNA. That's not a problem. Yeah. So they split off, and were these boys playing at all? Like I guess Roy Hodgson, the English bloke.
All of them have played.
Yeah.
For Warriors at some point.
Yeah.
After Warriors was founded.
So this is pre-Facebook. How the fuck did you find out about rugby?
Pub.
Basketball.
Is that how you found out about it? Basketball?
Yeah. Jaco was playing the same.
Oh yeah, of course.
He's the cheating the guy who cheated me into. I mean, first he got me, let's go and get a beer with the rugby lads, and then he got me to training.
Well, his surname says it all.
Villain, exactly.
The villain.
He's an absolute villain.
Did you go up to, was it Surnine where you all met the guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Iltakolu.
No, it wasn't Iltakolu, it was one of the, I think it was an Irish.
Oh, yeah, because that's how I managed to get
Irish
dragged into it.
Because Aussie Bar wasn't...
No, there was nothing like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no like Aussie bars. It was, okay, there was Angleterre, but that really wasn't a kind of a clubhouse type of thing.
Yeah.
And I met Dave Mason. He was on my uni course, and he said, "Oh, you used to play for Helsinki," and I was like, "Yeah." Do you want to come and play again? I was like, "No." And I was like, "Why do you want me to play, man? I was crap as it was." But they said, "Oh, look, we do need some players, and come and meet the guys and see how it goes." And when you meet the guys,
yeah, exactly.
and especially like, no offense to you, but you were a young whippersnapper then, and seeing the enthusiasm
With
on
an
these
afro.
young Finns. Yeah, no, he had really long hair then.
Yeah.
And it's just seeing these young guys and the enthusiasm for a sport they just picked up, and you kind of go, "Oh, go on then."
This is the awesome thing I like about Finns is that they like, you know, I've been playing rugby here for 5 or 6 years, and you see these guys that come in, they have no clue, they get the shit kicked out of them, and they love it. This is a skill to learn, and then they pick it up, and eventually they start kicking the shit out of other people, and it's awesome. Yeah, exactly. It really is. This is the poster boy for this. But that's an interesting point as well, because basically Aussie Bar is our clubhouse. Aussie Bar is this franchise, it's awesome, it's the loosest, craziest bar in town. I'll do the promo shit a bit later. They've given me a script, but I won't read it, don't worry. But we'll do the Aussie Bar promo later. But like, that's essentially our clubhouse. Like, I guess they got involved, what was it, 10 years ago or something? 2006?
Well, I think they had their 10th
Anniversary.
Yeah, I got in touch with them when they opened.
Yeah.
I've known the owners before the Aussie Bar was opened, and Scotty obviously having been one of the founders of Warriors and also being one of the founders of the Aussie Bar chain. Obviously, there was a connection.
Yeah.
And we were just sitting there saying, "Hey, you know, look, BJ, let's look at some sponsorship."
Yeah.
And at first it was small, but then he realised that as the club grew, his takings grew, and then it just
If I
kind
bring rugby men to my club, they drink.
shocking, wasn't
Yeah,
it? Really,
this-
it's absolutely shocking.
Business plan. Yeah.
Yeah, but then he got more and more involved. I think Heath's
And
put on a
women as
Warriors
well,
shirt
sorry.
at one point as well, hasn't he? Hasn't he put on? I think BJ's put on a Warriors shirt at some point.
I think he's had a couple of games. His
might
brother
be, might be.
Isaac.
I
has
definitely,
played.
yeah, I know he's played because I played outside him and he never gave me the bloody ball.
That's a whole other...
Oh mate, Isaac.
That's a whole other...
We'll talk about Isaac with BJ on the next podcast. The short story is the first time I met Isaac, he played for us against this Norwegian travelling club. And he was wearing trainers, and he still managed to get someone taken off for rucking.
Yeah, I remember that. I think I refereed it.
Rucking is essentially, it's illegal now, but back in the days you were allowed to move someone away if they were lying on top of the ball with your foot.
Yeah.
And,
I'll give you the
You could
exact
still
way,
sort
right?
of do it.
As a referee,
yeah,
right, if this is your foot and the person's on the floor, that's illegal.
yeah.
But you could do that. That was legal.
It's like you're wiping shit off the bottom of your foot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But he obviously had like a moose shit on there because the guy went off.
I remember that game
Yeah, yeah.
actually really well.
Yeah, you ref. That's
I
right,
did
yeah.
referee. I was the one that sent him off.
Exactly.
It was only for 10 minutes. It was a yellow card.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts like on the development of the clubs? Because I know in the early stages, but when did the first championship actually start? It was back. a few years ago.
2002
Yeah,
was
yeah,
the
yeah.
first
Yeah,
they
and
actually
so
played.
Helsinki dominated in the beginning stages, didn't they? They won the first 2 or 3.
2.
Yeah. So like then I think.
Tampere came in and Jyväskylä and then
Jyväskylä had the
Tampere.
next 2.
So Jyväskylä actually became a force at one point. Now, is this because like some foreign dudes moved there, or is it because they actually had some players turning up? Or?
No, if I remember correctly, they had a few very good like foreign players,
Yeah.
but they also had a lot of young Finnish guys.
Yeah.
Jyväskylä is a sports city.
Yeah.
Big university
Yeah.
places.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of sports in that uni, so that made it like they had numbers. They usually had 22 at games, and we came up with 14 to play them.
Subs.
I think the support setup they got from the city council as well was really a big help.
Okay, I didn't
I
realize.
mean, for in Helsinki, especially, I mean, when I was working with Warriors, when I was doing the admin stuff with Scotty many years ago, it was really tough to get us as a rugby club noticed by the Helsinki Sports Council.
Yeah.
because they were like, mitä helvettiä, you know, like, what the hell is rugby, you know?
Yeah.
But Jyväskylä, they had a really good support. I think I remember they had one of the best grounds at that time, because we were all stuck over in Tally, weren't we?
Yeah, they still have a good.
Yeah, they got a
got
lovely
good
place.
pitch,
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's nice. It's on a bit of a slope, but they've got a good pitch.
And you get a few people there to watch the games also.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah. Not saying there's not much to do there, but you know, it's all good. It's all good. So yeah, it kind of like as rugby grew, like different towns sprung up which started taking over. Then you had Tampere, which is basically the Mordor Orcs of Finnish rugby. No offense, Tampere, we love you to bits, but you like your forward play.
Because it's not a legal sized pitch.
Well, that's
It's
true.
like
Yeah.
It's like 40 metres wide and 60 metres long.
Actually, I actually
true,
measured it
true.
70 by 47.
Yeah, all right. So basically, if you're playing rugby, if you actually want to play some like flowing fast, like you saw in the Olympics, some fast running rugby, you need a bit of space. But if you essentially want to do the equivalent of World War One, where you just have troopers running into each other with machine guns, then you go
Trenches.
to Tampere. Pretty much.
And you can.
Now, to be fair,
Aren't the posts in the middle of like the in-goal area
I
as well?
think, are they on the dead ball line, or are they?
They're in between.
In
all the
between.
lines.
Yeah.
Because I remember the dead ball line used to be on that,
Yeah,
which would confuse the crap out of me.
Horrible pitch.
this is starting to change now, but like there are some interesting setups, or there have been in the past, where in rugby, you know, you're jumping and you're diving. And you literally have metal structures inside the area where you're supposed to dive, which is supporting the posts. But that's obviously starting to change now. But yeah, it was cool. Rugby had a bit of a Wild West feel back in the days, as far as I know. And then Tampere won a couple, 2 or 3, 2. And then suddenly, the Warriors won
Some
a
upstarts
title,
from Helsinki.
didn't they? Yeah. Back in 2007, I think.
8.
It was 8.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, the year I stopped playing.
Nothing.
Let's
wonder how that
not draw
happened.
any conclusions from this one.
Dude, I am. You can say what you want, don't worry about it.
So what was your feeling then about the community then at this point? Like, were people starting to become more rugby knowledgeable? Were people, like, were you having like good after parties and stuff with the boys? Was there like a network growing in Finland?
Yes and no. It was. There was some clubs would stay and have a proper third half.
Yeah.
But at least our club always had a third half by ourselves if no one else was there.
Do you want to explain the third half?
Yeah.
Quickly.
Quickly. Well, it's basically after the game, go together and have a few beers. You
Yeah.
all know what it's about.
Depends on if Paps is involved or not, whether it's a few or not.
Then it's like the fourth and the fifth and the sixth
Yeah.
half.
But it's that's actually one thing that's, I think, the biggest thing missing still in Finnish rugby is a proper third half.
Yeah.
Some clubs will have it, but because of distance, and Finland's a big country with a lot of distance, so a lot of teams will travel even 4 hours for a game in one direction.
Exactly.
So it will take them very long to
I
get home.
played in Thorne in 2012 and they had no culture for like drinking after the game.
I remember you messaging me about it, yeah.
At all. It was terrible.
Yeah.
But I think that was more the fact because Thorne was like the easy beat for so many years. So I think the boys just went off and played rugby during like on a Saturday afternoon, and then they'd already had pre-arranged plans for Saturday night. You know, they weren't going out to celebrate. So
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, that's why I joined Warriors.
Yeah.
You know, I was saying earlier on about the club culture in the UK. So you have a beer with the opposition, you have a beer with everybody that's involved in the club.
Yeah.
Everyone's an equal. There's palaver and shit, but then Warriors had that. So even though I couldn't give anything on the field, you know, but after the field it was just really great having a sit down and just having a beer, and then a lot of, you know, somebody will ask me how long have I been doing the rugby shit, and then I tell them some stupid crazy stories about tours, and they'd be like, we need to do a tour.
Yes.
We need a tour.
If you don't know, rugby tours are God's nectar. They're the greatest, most ridiculous, ludicrous pieces of shit. You might even play rugby on them. It's possible.
Sometimes.
I think they're the sports equivalent of Las Vegas. What goes on tour stays on tour.
Right, we're going to blow out, it's going to go hard. We might play some rugby, who knows. When was the first rugby tour for the Warriors?
Didn't you guys go over to Stockholm 10s a few times though? Would you count that? I think we did.
That's one of them. The first proper one I went to was in Warsaw.
I've heard about Warsaw.
I can't remember the exact year. I think it was.
It was 2008, I remember it. It's ingrained in my mind.
Yeah. It was a good trip. Good trip.
I think that's an understatement. It was freaking awesome.
Oh, and they had chicken. They had KFC, I think.
Right, yeah, actually right next to our hostel. And every time I walked past that KFC, there was at least one of the rugby team in there having having the bloody nugget, the chicken wings and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it was comedy. I actually went down there this year actually for the.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, they had the Rugby Europe conference down there, and it was maybe a kilometre away from where we were staying. So I deliberately walked down to the KFC and took a picture of it and posted it on the Warriors page.
Finland, bring chicken. We need more chicken. Come on, there's not enough chicken options in this country. Chicken nuggets are good, but we want other kinds of fried chicken.
Unlucky fried kitten.
Yeah.
Chicken.
I went out, so basically if that was 2008, then I actually joined you on the Oulu trip, 2009, which was, oh my God. So I'll tell you, like, back then I was kind of like a semi-serious rugby player. I just kind of been playing Division 1 in Wales. I come over and I said, right, you need to be here at 4 o'clock because we're taking the bus at 4 a.m. I was like, oh my God, I'll be there at like whatever. And then Juha, who's this like, he's essentially mother and drill sergeant in one, but a quiet version of both. He said, no, you'll be there at 4 o'clock because the bus will leave. Very quietly. I was like, all right, okay. So I got there at 4 o'clock, and then there's one of our Kenyan boys, Danny, who was like 10 minutes away, and he didn't make the bus. The bus went. And then we get on the bus now, and we drive off, and we're driving through Helsinki to different places, picking people up. And then this, like, I don't know, he's like from a manga or something, this 2 meters 5 giant of a man walks on with a beer can in his hand, which he's literally encircling like this, and he's putting them away. And it's like, is this Jussi Kesken? Yeah, that's big.
That's big Jussi.
And I was like, how many have you had? Oh, I've only had 5 waiting for the bus. Like,
guy's a machine. If
you don't know much about Finland, you leave Helsinki, you have some trees, you have some lakes. 10 hours later, you get to Oulu. It is forest up here, boys. It is absolute forest. We got there, we were pretty shit-faced. And we played our first game, and this is back, 2008, 2009, inside, like on AstroTurf.
Yeah.
And one of our old boys, Roy Casey, he was in his 50s, should not have been anywhere near a rugby pitch. He came on and played. He lost all the skin on his knees and on his forehead. I don't know what he was doing, but he was doing it wrong. And then afterwards, I had my first proper experience of the Finnish third half sauna. That was insanity. You walk into this room, and it's kind of like when you're in high school, you're like the locker rooms there. You've got all this business. Like, all right, fair enough. Walk through the showers. And then I walked into this room, I opened it, the steam comes away from my eyes, and I just see all these men packed in like sausages in a package. And there's this tiny little space between these 2 fat boys, and one of our players is doing press-ups on the floor naked, having his ass slapped by one of the older boys as he's going. There's beer everywhere. I was like, this is interesting. Walk over, park myself in, slip in between these 2 lads, like skin to skin. They're like, oh, welcome to Finnish sauna, beer. It's like, all right, beautiful. And then we hit Oulu pretty hard, and that's when like I realised that the sun just doesn't go down up there. That is weird stuff. You come out of the club at 2 o'clock and it's like 10 o'clock in the morning. Then the next day we drove to Vasa, which is like, 3 hours away or something, 4 hours away. Played rugby hungover on a pitch, kicked their asses as well. We scored like, 130 points to 0 in total over the 2 games. But now these days it's completely different actually. There's a lot of competition across the board. But that was one hell of a trip, I have to say. We had a good old time up there. And I like I like the fact we did it in Finland, to be honest, because it showed me a bit of the country and got to meet the boys. They were good boys. I don't think Oulu play these days because that's also.
I think they have some activity, but they don't play in any of the leagues at least.
Like they asked because we asked them when I was working with the federation. We asked them, do you still want to be considered as a club? Because we were going through all our notes, and we obviously every time we report to World Rugby or Rugby Europe, we have to give them the exact numbers.
Yeah.
Because it affects our funding. So we got in touch with Oulu and we said, like, do you still want to be considered as operating? And they asked us really nicely, can you actually put us on like hiatus?
Yeah.
Well, that's not a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Because obviously it's tough for them because their closest away game is Vasa, I think, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's a hell of a trek.
It's like, darling, I know you have kids. I know we have kids.
But, you have kids.
I'm going to be gone most of the summer.
Yeah. Scratch every weekend.
Right off. Yeah, so I can understand it. And then also there's like Rovaniemi who used to play as well, but that wasn't feasible. And then if you go further north, there used to be the legendary Arctic Rugby Tournament.
Oh,
Oh, mate.
Okay, this has died a death, partly for legal reasons, partly for just for logistics. This is a nightmare to get up there. But what was
God
that
damn
like?
it was fun.
You boys went up there.
oh yeah, it's playing rugby in the snow,
Yeah,
having like basically a mini tour at the same time,
yeah.
and just hanging out with the lads, being in beautiful Lapland in wintertime. It's awesome.
Yeah. What's it like getting smashed into the snow?
Well,
Face first.
I don't really know. You have to ask someone else.
Steve, what's it like?
I actually was in the front row of the scrum for the first time and the last time ever in Arctic rugby. Right. I was actually hooking, and I've never been in the front. I'd never been in a scrum at that point before, and I was just like, what the hell am I doing?
2 disclaimers here. Front row is basically in rugby where you've got like these...
The fat lads.
The fat lads go there, and hooking is not what you think. Hooking is actually a position where you use your foot to hook the ball back. You know, you've got these 2 tanks essentially made out of humans, and you use your foot to get the ball back.
It's number 2.
Yeah, but that's when old Gethin from Blue Peter from the UK came over as well, wasn't it? Yeah, who apparently wasn't a bad player from...
Oh, he was tasty.
Like, yeah.
I tell you what,
Good.
he does not like referees' calls. It's like, you and I have had our disagreements sometimes.
No,
God
you
damn
disagree
it,
with
this
me.
guy was like, dup, 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 dup. And I threatened to yellow card him.
That's amazing.
And then the next game I actually played, and it was nowhere near a forward pass. And I think Toby Murray got the ball, and he was like, I was 5 meters behind you. How was that a forward pass? And I looked over to this guy, this presenter from a British TV program was like whistling. He was like, I was forward.
Yeah.
And I looked, and he kind of went, as if to say like, gotcha.
Yeah, fair
And I was
enough.
like, you cheating git. But you guys got him good though, didn't you?
Yeah,
Pray to the snow god or something.
Yeah. We made him pray to the snow gods.
So when did you boys play your first international? When you were, I know Finland played a couple back in the days against Estonia, I think. But
Norway they played as well.
back in the days. But yeah, when was your first international trips?
I played my first one in June of 2004,
Right.
and that was in France.
Really?
Yeah.
Who'd you
Oh, that's
play?
when it was tournament based.
Yeah, we played Israel and Norway in that tournament. I think we played Israel first.
Yeah, I bet they were quite
played.
decent, Israel.
Yeah, we actually it was a good enough game.
Yeah.
I think I got a meat pie myself in that game.
Fair enough.
I mean, there's an example for you when a country's sports ministry gets behind.
Yeah.
Because years ago, Israel were in our same group as Finland, yeah?
Yep.
In the same group. And since then, I speak to the chairman and the president of Israel Rugby quite often. The sports ministry really got behind them. And they started pumping a bit of money into them. And now they're actually, I think, Europe 1B, I think, or 2A.
Okay, so it's like second tier.
So, yeah, they've really shot up with, when the players don't have to worry about paying to play, basically. The guys went, no, we don't deal with that. Our sponsors are in, the government's in, they're giving us this. We don't have to worry about getting the players to put in a little bit of their own money to play. And I think that's something that I would love to have stocked in Finland as well. But unfortunately, the hello Sports and Culture Ministry, give us some money.
Yeah. What is rugby? Yeah. But it's all good.
Well, the Olympics will probably help.
Yeah, that's going to be a big thing for sure. And like now, it was obviously really famous that Finland was bottom of the international leagues. If I can actually explain that, the fact is that Finland won't go and play Guadeloupe or I don't know, Vatican City or some other weird places. You kind of play within your regions, and the standard rugby here, in my opinion, is around about second, third division Welsh standards. So it's not so bad. And there was the Free Time Machos documentary as well. That's not how it is anymore. Like Finland is doing good, and actually, in terms of the internationals now, we're not the bottom anymore, are we?
The big change.
But didn't they actually extend it? They went from last to then they went lower, but they actually expanded the things.
The few countries came in.
Instead of being 94th.
It was something on that, like we being 100 and then we were 103rd.
Yeah, the issue is that
But they extended.
Yeah.
what happens is if you're a new nation, you come in with 30 points.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, Finland had 29.71. So when these new nations came in, we dropped down even further. But then it was a big hoo-ha when I was at some of the Rugby Europe meetings.
Yeah.
And we had World Rugby there, so it was nice for us to actually bitch at them directly. And I raised the point that we're playing Finland, sorry, I was representing Finland. Finland are playing consistently 4 times a year. Monaco haven't played a 15s international since 2008. How the hell are they still up there? So then World Rugby kind of came out and they said, right, to fix this, if you haven't played a rugby game, a competitive rugby game which is ranked, like against a ranked team in World Rugby, you lose half your points. So then there were like 3 or 4 nations that just dropped right down to 20. And everyone in Finland went, yes, we're not last. We're not last.
Oh, so that's how it happened.
Yeah.
That's not just that.
That's part of it. But then you guys also won games.
That's not the story I like to tell.
You won games.
That's not the story I like to tell.
Turkey. I watched that game. I was at Greece. Yeah, where they had like they had like the 2 props who essentially looked like they came
Castro Giovanni.
Oh mate, it wasn't even that. It was like they were from the Dothraki hordes.
Those are the guys that they got banned and they from going
Jason
out.
Momoa let himself go.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically those guys,
Didn't they have that winger as well?
Yeah.
It was like massive.
It's like, dude.
But they got banned from going out that night because they lost.
He got a yellow card.
Yes, that was right. Yeah.
So what's it like being a small fish representative when you go to literally events where essentially you're representing Finland with world bodies like England, New Zealand, Australia, all these people. They go to these IRB meetings, International Rugby Board meetings, and then there's little Steve Thorne from Finland. How's that like?
Well, I'm a gobby shit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't care. I mean, in my experience, I talk to major CEOs of major companies, and to me, I just speak to them as I speak to you.
Yeah.
You know, with me, it's no bullshit. Yeah, when I have a few beers.
Hang on a minute.
Work. So yeah, you know, I speak to the guys. I got lucky enough to get really good friends with the chairman of the French Federation. Pierre Camus.
Camus, okay.
Who was this great guy, and I was like having a cheeky cigarette at one of the meetings, and he was like, "Hello, who are you?"
Who are you?
And then I started speaking to him, and he said, "If anyone else comes, you speak French to me." I said, "Why is that?" And he said, "I don't want anyone to know that I speak English." So that was our little kind of secret.
That's the most French thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, it was. He was awesome. But then, you know, we had this issue with one member of one of the Rugby Europe Federation guys saying, Finland are crap. Finland are so low in the rankings because their organisation is shit.
Yeah.
And I got really pissed off at that. So I was like trying to get the microphone to really have a pop at this guy, but then the chairman of France stood up. And we had translation devices in our ears as well. So I was trying to listen to what he was saying. And he just went, "How dare you? How dare you equate to something that happens in 80 minutes to something that happens all year round?
Yeah.
Sit down, shut up."
Okay,
and the guy from Rugby Europe, he sat the fuck down and he shut the fuck up. It was awesome. And there was like the guys from Norway, Denmark, all the guys that the guy on the stage was really having a pop at. We were like, we love that dude.
The fact is, if you're from a small federation, you know, we're a small federation, there's like 1,000 players here.
Yeah.
But we're growing, that's the thing, and you know, rugby's going to help out. The full-time staff at the Suomen Rugbyliitto Finnish Rugby Union is 1.
It's true, yeah.
There's 1 dude.
And we had to fight for that.
Yeah, and like, so we actually have, which is a huge step. Steve Whitaker, shout out to you, you crazy bastard. I hope your wife's okay with this. But like, he now works as at the Finnish Rugby Federation. But that's good. So now we actually have some go forward as well. But I think the game is growing. We're getting into schools. We got girls here. The females started back when it was like 5 years ago or something, when girls rugby started off properly in Finland.
Oh God, no earlier than that, mate.
It started maybe 2004. I think.
Yeah.
That's when
your sister was playing. I remember.
Yeah, that's when I think that's roughly the time it started.
So
but it wasn't. It was
long old history then. Yeah, but now it's starting to grow.
Yeah,
it's completely different now. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're looking at maybe because one of the first games I refereed was the women's. Apart from the one we were in Turku when the referee didn't turn up, and I was like, oh shit. But there was like sevens games that were lasting 20 minutes each half, and now it's built, and you're looking at, the aim is to have every single game for women with each team has a squad of 23.
Yeah.
And it's getting there, it's really getting there.
I think I know it's my club, but I have to say I think the Warriors do good work with this because what we try to do is we just blood the new talent. Like, you know, we do put out a second team, we do have women's teams, and we do put 15 out when we can. So like that does help to grow the game. And okay, fair enough. It's as a foreigner, like it's great if the girls come in and play, but there's lots of Finns there as well, so you do get the good contacts as well. And the fact is, Finnish women are so bloody organised that they're actually becoming pretty good, I have to say. The Warriors actually suffered Helsinki's fate a couple of years ago, where a few of our good female rugby players went off and started their sevens team, the Wasps. Are they still going?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still going, the Wasps.
Yeah.
Because they essentially were pushing, and they did pretty well. They were pushing to get Olympic qualification. They got into the top tier. Lost to some big nations like Italy and Holland as well, but they done all right. Like, but speaking of Holland, this is one of the great things about. And we also need to talk about your shirt. I have to talk about that. But one of the great things about rugby is, like, we had this dude Joachim who had contacts in Holland, and they got a good setup over there. And like with rugby, you do get these opportunities, and these two bastards, Jimmy and Tumppi, ended up going and playing over there for a season. What was that like? What do you like?
You both look at each other going, yeah.
What can we say?
First.
Yeah. Tumppi, what's it like trying to get home after a game and letting people know where you are?
Oh, it depends on if you speak the language or not, bro.
Okay.
Alles good.
Yeah.
That's good as German.
Sometimes there's minor difficulties in letting people know you're okay and at home.
Especially if the game's 150 kilometers away.
Was that even a game that you were at, or was it a training session? Because the boys were
It was just a training camp or training session.
The boys were like training one of the clubs up there.
So. We were actually helping out a smaller club in their trainings. But the rugby in Holland, because it's so much higher and better level than here, and it was actually, they had clubhouses.
Yeah.
They had third halves.
Yeah.
We had burgers and sausages after our games with some curry ketchup and everything. It was just perfect.
Yeah.
But the rugby itself, the year I played, Jimmy played the year before, and I played the year after. Our backline that year was really good. We had a center from Australia and another one from New Zealand. Very good rugby players. Very good rugby players.
I remember when you came back, like, firstly your defence was 10 times better, and you were also 10 times dirtier, but 10 times better at hiding it as well.
On the screen.
Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed that.
I know he's being dirty, but I can't see what he did.
It's not dirty, bro.
You know when Tumppi's kind of playing the ref, it's because he looks at the ref first, so that's the point. Don't do that. Because you kind of you stick your nose up and like, where's the ref? Oh, right, if I go this way, he can't see.
Situational awareness. Yeah, Jimmy, you're also good at that.
That's good, allegedly.
I'm not admitting to anything here.
So you do get these good opportunities from rugby to move around. I mean, like back in the UK, I had a chance to go to Spain when I was younger. And of course, because, I'm a sensible human being, I turned it down because I had a girlfriend for 6 weeks. And, you do get, but that's the great thing about rugby. You get, work, you got mates, you got opportunities, you get to meet insanity projects like Antti-Pappala. What is Antti-Pappala? What is this person? What is he? I don't know.
I can't describe him. He's a lot of laughs, a hell of a lot of crazy.
Yeah.
Mixed
in
together,
one bundle of fun.
Mixed together, and sometimes puts on his rugby boots and hooks.
He has 3 rules which came from Arctic Rugby, and essentially, as the story goes, he was on the dance floor, literally doing like S curves. He was just so drunk, and they were like, "Right, you need to go to bed." And what were the rules?
The first rule is don't fuck with me.
Which is a great rule for life, in all fairness. And the second rule is, in no circumstances, do not point black rubber cocks at me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because that was the year of the BBC, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think he used the phrase, in any circumstances, don't point big black cocks at my face.
Fair enough. And then 3 is shut the fuck up when I'm talking.
Exactly.
And this dude, he is like in some ways the heart and soul of the club in a lot of ways actually. This boy is always there at the Friday first beers. We always have a Friday meetup on the first Friday of every month at Aussie Bar in Compy. He's there. He's providing the Jaeger and the Fiesel, which is like FISA's like the Matrix. I can't tell you about it. You have to experience it. So it's like a shot anyway. And you know, he'll pay for taxis for the boys to get around, and the girls as well. And he's just a top boy. In all fairness, he looks like he's 19 and he's about 43. It's just some weird genetic thing going on there.
He says that he's 43. I believe he's around 70 or something.
Yeah,
Might even be 200.
He's like the Finnish god of mischief.
He's Loki, isn't he? He's like he's an enigma.
Exactly. But yeah, so the current state of rugby here in Finland is we've got a pretty strong league at the moment. I have to say, there's like out of the top league, there's 3 or 4 teams who could potentially win it. Actually, you got the Tampere, Helsinki, Warriors. Depends if Thorne could get their act together in certain years. New Vascular as well. So you got 4 or 5 top boys there. Kuopio coming on. Who else have we got in the top league? Porvoo are doing some good work as well. The rugby is spreading. We're getting into schools as well. It's looking quite good at the moment. Actually, I have to say.
How many more comp games are there?
So as we stand, there are 2 more regular season games for the Warriors and for the rest of the teams. We've got Hämeenlinna and Tampere, and then there's a quarter final for the lowest placed runner-up, I think, and then there's a semi-final where you can get a bye straight into the semi-final if you're first or second.
Yes.
And then basically the final will be on the 1st of October. I will be unfortunately. Sorry, coach, but I'll be unfortunately missing the semi-final, and I will be missing the quarter-final if there is a game, but there isn't because I'm getting married and going on a honeymoon. I'm sorry about this.
I'm sorry for you, bro. I'm happy for you, bro.
Well, he can't do that. He has to bring the team with him, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I will get him.
Bulgaria, I've heard sketchy stories about that as well. So yeah.
Actually, I've heard sketchy stories from the Bulgarians.
Really?
Oh yeah. And the Bosnians. Oh boy, you guys, you think what goes on tour stays on tour? No, I get it in my fucking ear. From the guys out there, like, we thought these guys were crazy, but no, Finland came. Wow.
So anyway, Finnish rugby, so the final series.
Yeah. Well, like Bulgaria were kind of like, if Finland was Rocky, then Bulgaria is definitely Ivan Drago. Like,
Yes.
Yeah,
I must break you.
They've essentially like they go for the Panzer Blitzkrieg style of rugby where they just run into you as hard as they can and smash.
But Bulgaria,
we beat them, didn't we, recently?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a must-win game, and we beat them, and they went down a level.
Oh,
yeah, they're going back. They're going down
That's
to 3.
Rocky 4 right there.
Yeah.
That's
That
it. Yeah.
sucks.
That's for Apollo Creed, Bulgaria. Exactly.
To be fair though, I was speaking to the guys afterwards and they said, we're a bit happy because it costs us a lot less to go to a tournament than it does to actually play the away games.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel sorry for them guys coming over here paying like €7 for a beer. That's 14 of their money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were getting beers there for like 2 of their money, so literally €1.
Well, going back to the rugby spirit.
Trying to have a couple of beers.
But going back to the rugby spirit, a lot of the guys, I mean, I know I bought a few of the guys quite a lot of beers as well. This is what rugby's all about. These guys come in, they don't really have the equipment. I think they came over with a match official. He had nothing, right? He came over with, he borrowed a Scotland rugby shirt from his colleague to wear as a match official. So I gave him my shirts, I gave him my shorts, gave him a couple of pairs of socks.
Yeah.
At Christmas time, I actually bought him a pair of boots and shipped them to him.
Yeah.
Just because, like, that's what rugby's all about.
He's a top boy.
It's just...
Allegedly.
My wife was like, well, what have you been buying from bloody Lovell Rugby and why has it gone to Bulgaria? And I was like, well, you know, it's kind of...
Should I tell her or I'm having an affair?
Yeah, his name's like, I don't know, bloody Boris or something. But yeah, it's all about that. I mean, you know, the Finns were buying the Bulgarian guys beer and, you know, they were just like, wow, thank you so much. But that's rugby.
Do you know their money's the lev, isn't it? Do you know what that means? Lion. That's a great thing to have a pocket full of lions. Yeah, they're levs. So where do you think the future is? What are the union working on right now?
I think they're actually working with the schools. That was one of the big targets that they had.
So we're looking for foreigners who can come in, coach, help out, whatever.
The good thing is that the foreigners that are educated as coaches do all speak a little bit of Finnish, at least.
Yeah.
If not, some of them do speak really good Finnish, like Stewie Rainish is one. He's more or less fluent. Is he? He's kind of fluent, isn't he? Yeah, he's pretty fluent.
He's pretty fluent for a great beard.
And, you know, with regards to the Olympics just happening, I just got contacted by my daughter's school and said, "Oh look, we want you to come and do rugby with us."
That's great. The Olympics has been huge.
Yeah. It also really helped that the sevens rugby wasn't on at 4 o'clock in the morning. I mean, the final finished like, I think it was it 1 o'clock, 1, something like that. And it was great. It was good fun. It was really interesting. Yeah, we just have to see how we carry on.
I got to be honest with Rio. I was watching it. The games were good, and they fucked up big time there because there was like no one in the stadium.
I know. I was. The prices for the tickets were slightly over.
Is that what it was?
And to be honest, where is it? I can't remember the stadium. It's called Duo Demon or whatever it was called. It was really a little bit further out.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the actual the setup. Yeah, I mean the Maracana was there, and the Olympic Stadium was in the centre of Rio.
Yeah.
But then it was almost down like southwest.
Right.
Okay, a lot of the sports were there, but the main thing, like the football and the athletics for the Brazilians, I'm not going down there.
Well, in my opinion, I think all right, fair enough that there was a lot of problems in the games. It didn't even get a full house with Usain Bolt in. But what they did do is they put rugby on, and I think the games were good. I have to say, the quality was good. It was a good standard. So like people have seen it, and yes, I have the target audience. What was the Finnish commentary like for the rugby? Because from what I could hear, he was like knock on.
No, I read some comments of this Manu. His name is Manu.
Yeah.
Who was doing the commentary. I read some comments about his commentary on Facebook, and I was like, you retards. He was actually doing a good enough job.
Okay. I think that
he was doing a good enough job, but obviously he's not a rugby person, so he doesn't understand the small details. But when I looked at the games and heard him do the commentary, I thought it was very good.
Okay, fair enough.
I think he was very knowledgeable.
I gave positive feedback on Facebook about his commentary.
I think he was very knowledgeable about the game. He'd obviously done a bit of homework, but he just didn't have that enthusiasm that sometimes is needed, and I think that was it. Yeah. But then, no offense to you guys, but that's what Finland's like. You can be very flat.
Yeah, but there's cold focus, but then there's the ice hockey guy.
Oh yeah. Does he breathe?
I don't know,
like really? Does he breathe?
This dude, if you guys ever come to Finland, like seriously, check the ice hockey dude out. What's his name?
Antero Mertaranta.
Yeah, Mertaranta.
He's like the micro machine man from back in the days. Like he can talk like 200 words a minute for sure, and it just makes you go like, I don't know what he's saying, but I'm excited.
I speak Finnish at least somewhat.
Yeah.
And I don't really understand what he's saying every time.
Yeah. Right, the shirt. I have to remember to say that. So basically, Arctic Rugby. You met someone, didn't you? It was a romantic deal.
Hang on.
Over shots of Fisu.
What are we talking about? No, actually, this. Oh yeah, you're talking about Jeff.
Yes.
The love of my life.
Yeah.
No, I met him there, and his brother, and a lot of ginger men.
If you can imagine like the most Irish person you've ever met, he's a poet, he's a drinker, he's a singer, and he's a rugby player.
And a lover.
And a lover as well, yeah. Yeah.
He is basically, was it Steve Miller Band's The Joker? All those lyrics put into one, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. There's Sheehan in a bundle. And he basically was he travelling or did he rope a team over? What was it?
They set up a team, didn't they? They had a touring team.
They just, I think they came over for the tournament.
Yeah.
Just to have a laugh.
Yeah.
And he ended up playing for Warriors the next summer or the summer after that.
Yeah.
Just coming for the summer and actually I think he worked at Aussie Bar for some bit during that summer as well.
Yeah.
And I just had so much fun. Then he's come over every now and again.
Oh mate, he loves it. He's literally roped his entire rugby club into coming over for the past two Midnight Rugbies. Midnight Rugby is a pretty cool tournament that the Warriors are the champions of, and they're organised by Helsinki. Sorry Helsinki, but you know, it's all good. Love you really, boys. You know, we're all part of the same community. But like, the Midnight Rugby is, exactly what it says on the tin. We play around midsummer. Play up until approaching midnight, and there's a lot of alcohol involved. We've had some like Livonia, which is like the Lithuanian sides. We've had back in the days, Ali Hogg brought a team over.
Oh god, yeah, the Rodents.
And they kind of won.
He wasn't supposed to be playing. He said, "I'm the water boy," and I was like, "Okay, fair enough." Running the line, and then all of a sudden, and he's there. Like, I was like, "Hang on, water boy, why are you number 6?"
We brought our Dutch side over.
That's right, yeah, you did.
That's what you guys
That
were,
was-
didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, that was after
Dutch
you
runners.
played, and that was
Yeah.
after the summer, and then I
That
played
was
with
when you
them.
met the boys as well and went over the next year.
Yeah.
You had teams from like Texas over as well.
Yeah, it's been all sorts of boys. And then, and long story short, Jeff offered you another opportunity, so you went and played over in.
Yeah, I went there for.
University College, is it?
Yeah, I
So-
trained with them a bit, but I
Dublin,
then played some lower league, just like a
Yeah,
fun
'cause
game. I was there for 10 days, just having a laugh, kicking it with the she-hands.
If you want to
Hang on
know
a minute.
anything about
An unofficial personal rugby tour.
No,
Yes.
no, hang on a minute. You're telling me that you was only there for 10 days? And I had to do all that paperwork for you to get the allocation to go over to play in Ireland and then get it back again for 10 bloody days.
You didn't do
That's
anything
hilarious.
for that. You didn't do anything for that. But after this,
Yeah.
Jeff started thinking about he wants to come over and bring a team to Midnight Rugby.
Yeah.
So we ended up sending a thank you letter to his club for taking care of me at the time, and their club actually helped them come over,
Yeah.
which was, I thought it was so much fun. And then the past 2 summers they've been here.
Yeah. It's
Fine.
been awesome. Yeah. They're good boys. They basically wrecked the town.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah, they did.
Oh,
It happens.
exactly.
Yeah.
Getting some lonkero
Yeah.
to Irish people.
Oh mate.
Just Longero to anyone.
Longer.
Shout out to Longero.
If Snoop Dogg was alive in the 50s, this is what he was invented, because Longer is gin and juice, and it's like, it's the most perfect creation. It was for the 52 Olympics, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Ireland would be a very different place if Longer was over there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The world would be a better place.
It's one of those drinks though you can get absolutely mashed of it on the night, and then if somebody hands you a can first thing in the morning, you can still drink it and
Exactly.
go refreshing.
Yeah,
It's just kind of
you're
like
actually
one of
happy.
my 5 a day.
Yeah, exactly. But if you have a beer and you get mashed on beer and somebody gives you like a whatever can, you just go, oh, no, thank you.
Yeah.
But Lonkero, you just kind of go,
Yeah. Happy to drink it warm.
Exactly. Right.
oh, what?
Dirty. Boys, it's been an awesome talk, I have to say. I hope you lot at home have also enjoyed the history of Finnish rugby. It's a great sport to get involved in. Tom, how do people get involved with the Warriors?
Easiest way probably is to go to warriorsrugbyclub.org and get details from there.
Yeah.
Another option is just to walk into Aussie Bar in Kamppi
Yeah.
and say like, I'd like to play rugby.
Yeah.
And
I
they'll
think that's how I got you, wasn't it?
Friday
Pretty much.
night of the month.
every first Friday of every month at
Yeah.
around 7 till
Never.
there'll be rugby people in.
If there's a guy with massive eyes and blonde hair, that's Paps. Go and see him. He will buy you beer if you tell him about rugby.
You
So-
find Popula and talk to him about rugby, he will buy you a beer. Everyone who sees this, go and find Popula. He'll get you a beer and cheat you into playing rugby.
Exactly.
There'll be 1 million viewers.
Yeah. Warriors are on Facebook. They're on all sorts as well,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter if you're a Finn or a foreigner. Just come along. It's all good. Yeah. And Steve, what about the other rugby clubs around Finland?
Well, each of them have their own web pages. You can find them from www.rugby.fi. You can also email info@rugby.fi, and then they'll come back to you and get you in contact with all the other clubs around Finland.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you want to play, if you want to coach, if you just want to help.
Yeah, I mean, this is rugby, you
Administrators,
know.
anything like
Yeah, I mean, rugby is it's a very inclusive family. So even if you're just hanging around on the days of the games, giving out oranges at halftime, like Graham Saba used to, it's just come and join the family. There's loads of opportunities for you, for anyone to get involved, playing, coaching, refereeing, oranges.
Yeah.
Babysitting.
Yeah, there's all sorts of coaching courses.
Yeah.
So if you want to learn how to teach people how to play rugby, hit up the SRL. Jimmy, it's been good, isn't it?
It's always fun.
Yeah. These boys. Yeah. When are you going to be playing rugby next?
2 weeks.
When's the next international then?
We're doing the oranges.
No,
I hear the physio job's up for grabs again. Anna's gone.
We don't really need your kind of physio.
My original
Happy
my
endings,
original
eh?
my original doctor's job could be up for grabs again.
Oh my God.
Well, that's true.
You're kind of like Johan Cruyff when he went to the LA Galaxy or whatever. You'll play when you play. It's all good. But Jimmy is a good rugby player, so give him some shit, please, and get him back onto the field because he needs to be out there playing. Yeah, thanks a lot for this. We couldn't have done this without Aussie Bar. Aussie Bar is one of the well, it's basically the unofficial expat club here in Finland. If you want to meet like-minded people, if you want to have good piss, if you want to watch good sports, if you want to have live music, DJs, get over to one of the Aussie bar chains in Kamppi, Kaisaniemi in Helsinki, Tampere, Turku. That's all of them, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
That's all of them. Yeah, you can't say anything because you're all good. But yeah, thanks a lot to them for sponsoring this episode and checking out the next episode which is coming up. Cheers.
Peace.
Yeah. All right.